Hello, welcome to Tip Talk Thursday. Yes, Triple T, where every Thursday we talk about a single tip that you can use to be the best you can be in your mental health. In this video, we're going to talk about a single tip that you can do to help alleviate some of those pressures, some of those symptoms that you're feeling. That if you're experiencing significant anxiety and you're just feeling overwhelmed in your life, I'm going to tell you this one thing that you should do when things get a little bit too much. You're not going to like it, chances are. However, it's got to be done. I did it and I still do it from time to time, and I'm going to share this tip with you today. So what is this tip? What is this tip that's going to alleviate the pressures? And it's not so much alleviate symptoms, it's to reduce that feeling of being overwhelmed. Perhaps it's just to moderate some of that anxiety. If you're feeling intense anxiety, this one particular tip can do wonders in terms of just alleviating those pressures, alleviating some of those symptoms that you may be feeling. The tip is unplug from social media. Unplug from your phone, from your TV, from your tablet, whatever it is that you are, constantly looking at in terms of social media. Now, I'm not against social media, i.e., look what I'm doing, right? I'm trying to build a channel on YouTube. I'm trying to build something that I can share with the world, kind of leave my legacy based on my book that I wrote. This is my platform to share my perspectives, my knowledge, and the actions that I took to get better. And like everybody else, I enjoy social media. But from time to time, the depressive symptoms will kick in and they'll become very overwhelming. And I find sometimes that when I do feel symptoms, I'll tend to go for the phone. I'll go down, I'll watch maybe some Netflix, I'll watch a bunch of YouTube videos. I may flip through Facebook. I don't do TikTok very much, but anyway, regardless, I'll be flipping around doing all this stuff. So in addition to the symptoms that I'm feeling, the pre-existing conditions for my mental disorder that I'm feeling and feeling overwhelmed by, next thing I'll grab the phone and I'll be flipping through and, looking at Facebook posts of my friends and the endless amount of posts that are out there. And it just kind of gets too much, right? Especially, and then of course, if you follow the news, you throw all the news events, which typically is a doom and gloom narrative for the most part. You throw all that on top of, if you're taking all that in and you're already overwhelmed with depressive symptoms, it's not good. It's not good. And at one point, I remember the worst experience that I've ever had was that very same thing. I was feeling symptoms. I was feeling a flare up. My anxiety really kicked into gear and I was very, very anxious. Grabbed the phone, going through like you normally would do. And then I just started getting really on edge till eventually I was sitting on a couch and I literally just threw my phone away, bounced off the couch onto the floor, and I had to stop. It was too much. And what was interesting is that when I did stop, it was quiet. So, I unplugged from chaos and plugged into peace and quiet. Something that in some cases it's hard to come by, right? Life is busy. But when you find that opportunity just to simply plug into peace and quiet, it can do wonders. It's just like an immediate, you've basically shaved off half of those pressures, half of that chaos that was building on top of the depressive symptoms that you're feeling. So in this case, you can stop that immediately, and that just unloads some of the weight, so to speak, when you're trying to cope with your depressive symptoms. Now it's just you and your symptoms. So when I don't have my phone in my hand, I have to do something. I can't just sit on the couch and dwell in my symptoms and dwell in my anxiety. I have to do something. And that something usually involves getting my butt off the couch and doing something active. You don't necessarily have to go run 20 miles. You don't have to hit the gym. I mean, just getting out of this place And the idea here is that you want to expose your senses to something else other than your phone, right? You want to feel something different. You want to smell something different. You want to taste something different. You want to hear something different. And a few things that I would highly recommend doing is something that's active. You know, get off the couch, put the sneakers on, and go for a walk. Even simply just going for a walk, right? Keep the headphones out of your ears and just listen to nature. Feel the wind on your face. In my deep well of depression metaphor, there's a component in that symbolizes some of the life challenges that we experience. And if you watch my deep well of depression video series, I break down each and every component and talk about their significance in this disorder. And one component of that deep well of depression are the piranhas of depression. So the piranha of depression, they symbolize the different life areas that can have a toll on your mental health if you are experiencing difficulties in any one of these life areas. One could be family or relationships. One could be financial related. One could be biological related, i.e. physical, that type of thing. If you starve one of your life areas, for example, if you're always working and you're never home and you don't have good relationships with your family, perhaps your relationship is strained with your wife or whatever the case might be. But when you starve one of those piranha, what happens? Well, they get aggressive. They start eating at you. So with respect to today's tip, what I would do is, I would throw the phone away and stop focusing on other things, other people, other events, i.e. the news and everything. And instead, I would focus on me, okay? I would start feeding the family, home, or relationship piranha, because yes, you have a relationship with your spouse, you have a relationship with your kids, but you know what? You also have a relationship with yourself. And if you're constantly focusing on everybody else and social media and the news and all that, and you're not giving enough attention to yourself, it's going to eventually start eating at you. This is where I say throw the phone to the side. You get up and focus on you. This is where you need to be selfish. You need to be selfish and look after you. Go for a walk, go for a hike on a hiking trail. Even if it's just an hour, go for a walk, go for a jog if you're so inclined. If you have a kayak and you're close to the water, throw it in the water and just go. You can go to the beach, depending on the season, of course, but you can always go to the beach and just walk in the sand, take your shoes off and go for a walk in the sand if you can, or, walk in the water if it's suitable, whatever. But do these things and just feel these sensations and just connect with yourself, connect with the environment around you, connect with nature. And that is so good for the soul. And after you're done that activity, whatever activity it is, but after you're finished, you complete that you time where you're feeding that piranha of depression and it becomes, and when you feed these fish, okay, so the idea here is that when you feed the fish, i.e. you're spending more time with yourself and focusing on on improving your mental wellness, then that makes this fish a little bit more full and less aggressive. And that can really make a difference in your mental wellness. So all this to say, just take a break from the phone, okay? And again, I'm guilty of that. But that one particular time, it made such a huge difference when I threw that phone aside and I got up and I went for a hike and I went for about 2 hours. It made such a huge difference. And what that requires you to be, in a nutshell, is that you have to be selfish. And it's extremely important for you to be selfish, to focus on yourself, because doing these things is going to make you feel better. And if you're feeling better, that puts you in a better position to cope and manage your day-to-day responsibilities, and particularly being who you need to be for your friends, your family, your loved ones, whatever. So the big thing is that you have to look after yourself first before you can be in a position to be the best you can be for everybody else. Thank you for watching, and I hope you got something out of today's video. I do want to mention that much of the content on my channel is inspired by my self-help book entitled A Deep Well Perspective for Healing in Depression, Introducing 7 Action Steps to Overcoming Depressive Symptoms. You can find it on Amazon, and I've provided a link to my book in the description box below. Check it out. Remember, on this channel, there's hope always.